Thank you for watching Evening News on KLPD Channel 7. I'm your host, Donald Donaldson, and my sidekick in action, Flo. Thank you for watching tonight's newscast of Channel 7 News. We're going to conclude tonight's show with a tragic story that's happened at Sierra College about a year ago. We're going to be giving you an inside look on exactly what happened, followed by a live interview with our on-set interviewer, Flo. Thank you.
On this here campus 1 year ago today, a young man performed a terrible crime. A double murder-suicide. Ronnie Perry was a student here at Sierra College, and last year brought a gun to school. He shot 2 random students point blank, and then shot himself. From what we know, Ronnie grew up in a very wealthy and religious family. There are many questions that hover around this mysterious crime, and we are here today to try and answer these questions with the help of our 4 top philosophy professors in the world. Over to you, Flo.
Thank you, Donald. We are here now with Professor Kelley Johnson, one of the philosophy teachers. The best philosophy teacher here at Sierra. Professor, how do you remember the day of the murder?
Bad.
Okay. What view do you take on this issue?
What do you mean? What right do I have to judge him?
He committed a terrible crime. It was wrong in so many ways.
Well, according to the theory of ethical subjectivism, there is no wrong. He was very sheltered as a child, and this often causes a sort of rebellion in kids or young adults. So from his past, I don't blame him. I don't agree with him, but you can't say he's wrong. Other sheltered kids would agree that what he did wasn't wrong.
But I can disagree. He murdered innocent people and himself.
The way I see it, and the way ethical subjectivism sees it, there is no way for it to be morally wrong, because an absolute right and an absolute wrong simply just don't exist. What he chose to do is just different than what you or I would choose to do. It's all opinion.
Okay, I feel like you have issues.
I'm sorry you feel that way, and I will express that you're annoying, but who's to say either of us are right?
Okay, and that's the end of that. Thank you, Professor.
So welcome.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Professor Neutrelle. Please, tell us what you remember about that day.
Just chaos. I actually heard the gunshots go off, so I was one of the first ones to the crime scene.
That must have been terrifying. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, originally I was wondering how somebody could plan something so terrible, but the more I thought about it, the more the pieces didn't add up.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, the fact that this happened during the middle of the day, it was in the middle of the quad, and we later realized that Ronnie didn't even know the 2 boys that he killed.
So as a philosopher, how do you explain something like this? Because it was a suicide murder, is Ronnie completely wrong?
Well, according to the theory of utilitarianism, Ronnie murdering his classmates was wrong because he didn't consider the consequences.
But how do you know he didn't consider the consequences?
Because after the murder, he figured out the consequences, and in fear, he chose to end his own life. If he had planned the murder, then he would have already known what the consequences would be, and he wouldn't have had to kill himself.
So why exactly do you think he killed himself then?
It's just a simple matter of pleasure versus pain. He knew that living a lifetime as a murderer would be more painful than the second it would last of killing himself.
Very interesting input. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
We're now here with Professor Devan Burke, our 3rd philosopher at Sierra College.
Good afternoon, Flo.
Good afternoon to you too. Thank you for joining us today. So what do you remember the day of the murder?
There was so much screaming. It was truly one of the most horrific things I've ever experienced.
I can't even imagine. Are you going to attend the first Ronnie Perry suicide prevention?
No. I'm all for suicide awareness, but did you forget that this was also a murder? Exactly. You were forgetting that he killed 2 of his classmates. I've heard the news and the excuses that they're making for him about how he had issues with his family life and how he was not mentally stable. It's ridiculous, really.
I don't understand how those are ridiculous in trying to find reasons for the murders and for him taking his own life.
That's because I can assume that you've never heard of the theory of functionalism. Functionalism says that when you're regarding to yourself as I, the I you're referring to is your body and only your body. Therefore, your physical being is who you are, and what you do is completely and utterly dependent on that.
I'm not exactly following.
Of course you're not. I'll simplify it even more for you. So basically, Mr. Perry's I is his body, so when he committed the murder, he is completely and utterly to blame. There's no justification for what he did, no matter what his surroundings were or what his lifestyle was like. Was that really his sad, pathetic life that pulled the trigger? No, it was his physical hand, his body. He pulled that trigger. Does that make it simple enough for you to understand?
Well,
Exactly.
getting really annoyed with all these sass attacks. Thank God we're almost done. Oops, did I say that out loud? Anyways, we have here with us Professor Vander with her take on the murder. Please, tell us how it has affected you.
Let me start by saying, if there is one God, all-knowing and all-powerful, how does free will exist?
I don't know. How is that relevant?
How are we able to choose anything if life is already laid out for us? We know that Ronnie was sheltered as a child. Growing up in a rich family, he was given everything he wanted, but was under the most intense watch and was given little freedom. Ronnie didn't choose to grow up in a strict family.
But he chose to kill those people and himself. Are you really trying to say that this isn't his fault?
Well, he didn't choose the way he was brought up, he didn't choose the DNA he has, and he didn't choose for there to be easy access to a gun in his household. If he didn't choose any of this, then why did he choose to kill?
So how does God play into all of this?
God is all-powerful and all-knowing, right? He has a set plan for us. If he has a set plan for us, how do we have free will? How do we choose if it's already chosen for us? How did Ronnie choose to kill if it was already in the stars for him?
So let's sum it up by asking if you believe he was wrong in what he did.
The act of murder was wrong, but who is to say that it was Ronnie's fault? He really had no choice.
Okay, I'm done with this. Donald, save me.
Wow, Flo. I'm very sorry you had to endure all of that. Well, there you have it, folks. The top philosophy professors we've talked to about this very special story we've had. I hope you all enjoyed it. And that's the wrap of tonight's show. Stay classy, Sierra College.
Activism. There is no wrong. He was very sheltered as a child, and You're welcome.
You're not
For joining us today. Hello. Today we're going to be talking about philosophy. Tragedy. Sorry.
Oh, that was such a good start.
In the face. Drop kick.
All these sass attacks, thank God we're almost done. Oops, did I say that out loud? Anyways, here we have Professor Vander. You're a statue.
Oh.
You didn't even laugh.
You were just literally like this the whole time. I forgot.
I'm getting really annoyed with all these retakes. Thank God we're almost done.
Sorry.
I guess I'm not even funny. I didn't get any bloopers. Goodbye.